Hey guys, welcome to Fantasy Effect episode 39, the week 3 rewind. We are brought to you by Dynasty Theory in partnership with Dynasty Daddy, and as always, Fantasy Football Infinity. Technical difficulties aside, Holler and Jay, how are we doing?
Good, man. I was telling these guys a little bit before. I came back today from a company retreat and feeling a little worse for wear. So we had an open bar last night, so still nursing that a little bit, but we'll get through it.
Hey, yeah, I just came back from a work trip as well. I'm a little tired. I was in Utah.
Ooh,
out in my neck of the woods.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Did you get another wife while you were there?
Thankfully, I did not.
Okay. I didn't know if, like, when you go into the state, they just hand you one or how it works there, but
no.
I was
really
worried.
What they do though, they just shut down any fun with alcohol.
Yeah, I was there on a Monday and a Tuesday, so we were good. There's some fun on those 2 days.
Awesome. Yeah. We got a ton of people in the chat tonight.
Let's go.
That is very exciting. Okay, should we get right into the news? We got a bunch to cover.
Let's do it, man.
All righty. So we got Mike Williams to the IR with a torn ACL. That should be his season done. Do we finally get to see QJ on the field and in action?
Dude, I hope so, but I don't think so. They seem to love Josh Palmer this year.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like a development thing where Quentin Johnston's just not as far along as they want him to be, or maybe he just can't play the guitar, as they say. But he's not on the field he's not really even on the field that much.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, now there's obviously an opportunity where he's going to kind of have to be. So I think we're going to see what he's got, but it might be the Josh Palmer show.
Yeah, I'm super surprised by that. They went out and got QJ I think it was the first round, right?
Yeah.
So when you pay that kind of price for him, you want to put him on the field, but maybe there's something going on. I know he had some issues with some drops in preseason, but you got to get him on the field. You're using a first round pick for him. I think we'll see a little bit more, but yeah, I'm right with what Jay said. They really love Josh Palmer. We noticed that last year. This is not how I wanted to see Mike Williams go out. I knew he'd probably miss some games, but not the whole season. That's really unfortunate. And him and Keenan Allen were putting together good seasons each so far. So this is a big bummer.
So I just pulled it up. So Quentin Johnston has played a total of 48 snaps over 3 weeks.
Whoa.
So not ideal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe Keenan Allen.
How many possible snaps there?
I think.
Can you tell us that quickly? I know it's.
I think 214 based on
what I was going to say. It's got to be
quick math. But yeah.
Yeah, that's not great.
So that's not awesome.
Yeah, from my understanding, from the things that I've heard out of Chargers camp, is that they were looking to bring QJ along slowly. And that's what this Anthony J is also saying here right now. A very raw prospect, definitely on the route running. And I've never hidden my feelings about not really liking QJ all that much.
True that.
I don't think he's I don't think he catches the ball very well. And when you got somebody throwing a freaking rocket at your face, you need to be able to catch the ball the correct way. We're not just dropping it into the basket here with Justin Herbert.
Yep, true that.
And I've seen some people on Twitter saying this reminds them of the whole Jalen Reagor right before Justin Jefferson thing, because Quentin Johnston was drafted 1 pick before Zay Flowers, and Zay Flowers has been awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Buyer's remorse, I guess. I don't know. Derek Carr, sprained AC joint. Wow, what do you guys think? Week to week, we see some Jameis because they got some time to waste.
Yeah, I think Jameis definitely plays this week. The Derek Carr injury looked a lot worse than it ended up being, so that's good for him. It was sad watching him. He looked like he was in so much pain. It reminded me back when he was playing with the Raiders that 1 year where the Raiders went to the playoffs and he got knocked out against the Colts where he broke his back. Poor dude.
Terrible luck.
Yeah.
So hopefully
rough.
he's back. Yeah, hopefully he's back sooner than later. We'll get to see what Jameis can do. He played okay stat wise, but they didn't move the ball when Jameis went into the game, and they choked that lead away against the Packers. So we'll
And
see how he
then,
does with a full week. But
I was going to say, kind of hit that Kamara's coming back. So I think that they're going to use him a lot. So I'll save a little bit, but I was a little disappointed in what's his name? Kendra.
Yes.
Yeah, Kendra did not play very well. So that was not great.
Packers have
Did
a
not make
solid
the most of it.
defense.
They do.
They sure do.
Okay, we got Jimmy G in the concussion protocol. McDaniels is unsure if Jimmy is going to suit up, and he will not commit to Hoyer or AOC. What do you guys think? Who are we going to see? Farva on the field?
So it looks like the latest update I got today after practice was it looks like Jimmy G's progressing well. So I think it's more likely that he'll be on the field. But I think some of the beat writers were saying if he's not available, it's going to be Hoyer, which I don't understand because we know who Brian Hoyer is. We don't necessarily know who Aiden O'Connell is.
He's a wonderful
and it's not like the Raiders are playing for a playoff spot anyway. So just let
you're already out there. You're already out on the season.
Yeah, we suck.
You guys,
I mean,
the Steelers.
It was fun for a little bit, but yeah, we're done.
Yeah. Okay,
that was quick. I think it'd be cool to see AOC. You know, I really like it. He looks just like Farbo. It's pretty cool.
He really does.
And honestly,
he played that poor man.
He played really well. Obviously, it was against backups, but he played super well. So it'd be cool to see him actually, you know, in some real like important snaps. You know, so I think it'd be cool to see. But I'm certain we're going to see Hoyer, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they can't really commit to the we're not very good yet, you know, being that it's still September.
Yep.
And we're still in the first month of the season, so you can't really say we're tucking our tails here. You know, I don't know. I told you guys what I thought about the Raiders before the season even started, and it's kind of going the way that McSpanky didn't want it to go this way. I kind of thought it would go this way.
Agreed.
McDaniels needs to be fired.
Yes. What it is. Yes. Yep.
Send your note in.
New England West is not happening, just like it hasn't happened anywhere else. I wish people would learn from those mistakes, but they won't. Okay, so we got Jalen Waddle, Brandon Ayuk, Austin Eckler all back at practice today. Were they all practicing in full capacity?
No, Waddle was. I think Ayuk and Eckler are both limited, but it's just a little bit of good news that they're all at practice. I mean, Eckler hasn't practiced in a while, so it looks like he's trending up. And if he's a go, the Raiders defense can be shredded, to put that nicely.
Oh yeah.
So he's gonna be he's gonna be a really good play.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yeah, some good news. You know, I have a lot of Waddle and Ayuk, so I'm happy about that. And then I also have Eckler on a redraft team, so it was a big bummer when he was out. So hopefully he comes back this week.
You lose the Eckler. All right, should we get into these week 3 duds here?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
All right. Who's the biggest quarterback dud here?
It's got to be Fields, right?
the biggest dud. Yeah. You know, coming into the season, we kind of thought that they figured out the whole rushing offense. You want to know who has more rushing touchdowns than Justin Fields does? Jared Goff.
Whoa.
Gross. Jared Goff has more rushing touchdowns than Justin Fields up till this point in the season. So if you want to think about how Justin Fields' season is going there, that's why we have him as a dud. And I think Sam Howell definitely deserves to be announced in here as well. He's got a 4 interception game. You know, it was against the Buffalo Bills, and he's probably trying to force it and make some things happen here. But his first true test of a defense, and they absolutely made him look like the 5th round pick he was.
Yeah, no, he finally played 100%. A good defense, and you could see why he slipped in the draft.
Yes, yeah. Next down to the running backs. Holler kind of hit on Kendre. I think we definitely should lean in a little bit there, even though the Packers, you know, have we think is a pretty decent defense there. I don't have his exact stats pulled up here. Something like 40 yards though. I think he rushed for.
It was 10 carries for 34 yards. I think.
Yeah, not great. Target wise, I didn't get to watch many games. We had we had some in-laws over this weekend, so I was in and out on the TV.
Gross.
I didn't see much this weekend. Yeah, I know, right? Who plans to trip over to my house on a Sunday is what I'm wondering. Shh, if you guys are listening, it was a really great time.
Nice save.
Who else do we have for the bums and the duds?
I think
the duds.
I think a big one out of these that we put down here is Derrick Henry. I know Cleveland's got a really good defense this year, but I just think I personally think he's starting to look a little like slow down a bit.
Bad.
Yeah. And Tajay Spears is not going anywhere. He's young. They're going to use him. So I think that's a bit of a concern. And so I just think, he's not looking good, and that offense doesn't look good. So that's definitely going to hurt almost any player on the Titans, fantasy wise. So I just think out of those 4 that we put down, I think he was kind of a big one there.
The big thing too is like he's never been the most like efficient runner, but he's got just like a ton of volume, and he's not getting that this year. So I pulled their snap counts because I was curious. Henry's played 93 offensive snaps, where Tajay Spears has played 85. So almost 50-50. And then Henry's yards per carry is only at 3.2, where Spears is at 5.2. So he looks a little slow. I know the offensive line's not doing him any favors, and their starting right tackle was suspended the first 4 weeks of the season. So it's been bad, but he just doesn't look the same.
And he only had 11 carries this last week. I know it's probably a little bit of game script, but they're probably going to want to use Tajay more when they're down. But early he still did not look good.
Yeah,
not great returns from King Henry there.
Yeah.
Maybe we get to the middle of the season and everybody gets tired of hitting everybody, and they see that big old man coming in, and Henry can save his season like he normally does. We'll see here. I'm not ready to write off the freak of nature that is Derrick Henry.
Agreed.
I am here.
Put him in the ground.
You are. Put him in the ground.
He's dead.
Oh my goodness, McSpankster. That's a big hole to dig.
Yeah, Nate, that's a big one. Nate, that's a good point.
People.
Nate is saying that he feels like the book on Henry has always been that he plays better the more carries he gets. Tough when he isn't getting fed, which is 100% agree. When he's only getting 11 carries, that's not good.
Yeah, he does have the toe in the game script. Let's go on to our wide receiver duds. I think Ridley. Apparently, if the field was like a foot wider and a foot longer, Ridley would have had a really good day. Apparently, but that's not how it is. So
this is week
if
2 now.
That candies and nuts, that. And then we also got another London dud.
That might just be who he is this year.
That's what I was going to say. This is getting a trend.
Problem. Yeah, that whole Falcons offense is just a pile of poop outside of Bijan Robinson.
The Lions
and Bijan didn't play that well either. So.
I mean, yeah,
nope.
I mean, the Lions had 7 sacks. I mean, Ritter just and a lot of his passes, he wasn't even giving Pitts and London a shot at the ball. He's overthrowing London and Pitts. These dudes are 6'5", and their verticals are out of the gym. And you can't give those guys a ball that they can catch. Dude,
crazy.
It's got to be Heineke season soon, right?
Yeah, I would think
something has to happen. Something has to happen. Okay, well, we got the duds for the tight ends. Hunter Henry. What a disappointment that was. I kind of expect some of these, but I think with the cost you paid for Hunter Henry, you're probably not, too upset with what happened in the week. You're like, oh, okay, late round pick anyway. Who cares? But Dalton Kincaid, man, what's going on there? What's going on in Buffalo? They just were they up so much, and they were just like, I don't think we need to throw it to Kincaid.
I mean, kind of, but it's weird because they wanted to use him so much. There's so much hype in the offseason about like, they're using him all over, and they really haven't been, and I don't really know why. It's kind of weird. Dawson Knox has been used quite a bit. The receivers have been used. But for whatever reason, Kincaid, I don't know if they're like saving stuff, but that doesn't really make sense because the games count right now. So
absolutely. I saw he got a target when I was watching. I saw he got a target in the red zone or in the end zone actually, and he did not. I think that was kind of a hard pass to catch, but he's got to haul those in. And I think if he were to haul some of those in, I think they would probably go to him a bit more. And I've just noticed there's been a few times that they've targeted him in the end zone, and he's dropped multiple of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think once he catches those, I think it will start to be a little bit better. But one guy I wanted to hit on was Dalton Schultz. I know, some people were super high on him, other people were not. I don't think many people paid too much for him, and if you're playing in startups over the summer. But just I'm surprised at the lack of targets he's gotten. I wrote it down real quick, and he has a lot of people thought he was going to be the top target, in Houston. And he's only had 7 total receptions, and on 14 targets across 3 games. And you'll hear it in a little bit, but CJ Stroud's playing super well, right? Throwing a lot of yards, and it's the Tank Dell show and a little bit of the what's his name?
Nico Collins.
Nico Collins, thank you. Yeah, I was just gonna say the Ron's bum, and so I think I'm surprised. I'm very surprised by that, and I personally don't know if much is gonna change.
No, I don't think so either. I think it's more we were discounting the wide receiver room there and just kind of assuming like, oh, Dalton Schultz is gonna be by default the target leader, but the wide receivers have played a lot better than I think anyone thought. And Dalton Schultz, I mean, maybe he was just a product of the Dallas system.
True.
Yeah. I think it's a product of Dak Prescott at this point, because now we've seen Kellen Winslow, or God dang it, Kellen Moore. I keep calling him Kellen Winslow. Kellen Moore move on.
Yeah.
And I don't think Herbert is he's not targeting Gerald Everett. I can tell you that by my rostership. That's for sure.
Weird.
So I think it's a Dak thing.
It is a Dak thing because Jake Ferguson's second on the Cowboys in targets.
Yeah,
baby. Fergalicious definition. Make the boys go crazy. Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Real quick, a huge dud was Dallas. Those Cowboys, man. They were a huge dud. Crazy.
Can't believe they lost that game.
Yeah. Hopefully Dan's okay.
Wild times. I'm sure Dan made it through. He's a strong man. He's a strong man. I shook his hand. All right. So week 3 studs at the quarterback position, Tua and Herbert. If you pay attention to football, you know what Tua did and has been doing. Should be another fun one this weekend for those guys.
I was gonna say the stud list just has to be the entire Dolphins offense,
right?
That's
right. Right.
I called out Cowboys for duds. Let's call out those Dolphins for the studs the whole weekend. Yeah,
they
was
looked
amazing.
like they were playing a game of Madden on like the easiest setting and just running up the score. Anything they did just worked.
Yep. And I feel like I did call out last week that Broncos defense is pretty rough, and I think that's going to continue for the rest of the season. And so I think a lot of people are going to score on the Broncos.
Your boy A-Chain though, dude.
Finally. Let's go
on A-Chan, whatever he wants
to be called. Yeah.
I still like A-Chain because then I can do the choo-choo emojis.
Yeah,
man, it sounds so much cooler. Hey,
he's
man,
now
you have A-Chain? Yes.
I think he needs just one more of those games for me to be able to and say he's going to be the RB2, right? Just maybe 1 or 2 of those games and we're okay.
He's already running back 4 in the season, and he didn't even play the first game, and he played like 15 snaps of the other one. So
he needs one more game here.
Yeah, and I'm good.
Jeez Louise. Hopefully, this is a sign of things to come, and we get to see more A-Chain in there.
I think what's kind of good is we haven't. Sorry about that, but I was going to say I think what's kind of good is we haven't heard anything about Jeff Wilson coming back, or there's honestly hasn't been anything at all. I know he's injured and I know he's on the IR, but they haven't said much about him coming back or anything like that. So I think Mostert's playing really well, and unfortunately as well. So I'm hoping that they just use those 2 guys, but it will be interesting to see when Wilson comes back for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I think they're planning on him coming back, but I mean, he's got to be 3rd on the depth chart now, right? Behind Mostert and A-Chain.
Yeah, I would assume.
Yeah. And he's
I don't know about
the short yardage guy. I mean, Ahmed here he got some snaps and was a nice little thing, but I think A-Chan has gone onto the field and showed you that he is about 10 feet taller than Ahmed, out there.
Ahmed's too slow for that offense, man.
Yeah, he's not.
Dude. I don't know how you can keep Achane off the field, like
You can't.
Yeah.
and be a sane coach. I know McDaniel isn't a sane dude, but like he's not sane in like a good way. Like he knows, like, nope, we got to do it. So let's get
One
into the
guy-
wide receivers. Oh, go
I was
ahead.
going to just give a little bit of tidbit to James Conner. You know, I know we talked about the Cardinals before the season and just thought that was going to be trash, but you know, I think their offensive line is solid, and I think James Conner is going to be, you know, he's going to get points for you the rest of the season. You know, it's looking like the Cardinals are okay, and when Kyler's better, they're probably going to bring him back. So I think James Conner's a good like RB2 for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I still don't see Kyler coming back. I don't know why. He's still Kyler.
Yeah, it's
There's no
we'll wait
reason to
and
bring him
see.
back,
Yeah.
unless he's like all the way ready, I guess. But
yeah.
you're not playing for anything.
Right. Okay, so we got Keenan Allen gets to be the you know, big old stud that he is after Big Mike Williams goes down. What do you have, like 15 targets for Keenan this weekend?
I think it was 18.
18? Good Lord.
It was a ton, yeah. Record for the most for the Chargers, I think it was.
Probably just pencil him in for 15 a week at this point.
Crazy, yeah.
Devontae Adams with a studly weekend too against old P2 Patrick Peterson.
He's playing really well. I mean, I heard some rumbles that he's not very happy, which how can you be happy? But I mean, I think he's going to produce with any quarterback, you know. I mean, they're going to feed him the ball.
Mhm.
Even Jacoby Myers is getting the ball a lot, and so I think he's still going to have a couple, you know, many weeks that he'll be solid.
Yeah, he's still Devontae Adams. That is for sure.
Yep.
Should we move on to the tight ends?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Laporta.
Yes, sir.
That's all I have to say. Wow.
He's the real deal.
Awesome. Even as a Lions fan, I'm even surprised and shocked and in awe at just how quickly he's got himself into this offense. Because, you know, you hear all the hype all, you know, summer long. Laporta's doing this. Laporta's doing that. Okay, guys, let's, you know, pump the brakes here. You're getting me a little too excited about it. But now we're seeing it on the field, too.
Yep.
Oh, my goodness. It's wonderful. It is wonderful.
He's looking really, really good. I think he'll be the, you know, at the end of the season, I think he'll easily be firmly in the tight end, you know, top 8.
Easily if this continues.
He is
He
obviously
be a top 5 kind of guy, I think.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
And then we got Mr. Kittle making an appearance on here. Is that because of the lack of Ayuk?
I think so. I think that and I mean, we talked about how the Giants linebacking core was pretty crappy, so I think he took advantage of that. It was just a good matchup, and plus Ayuk was out. So but nice to see him get a good game though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I hope I continue a little bit. That continues. And then one other guy, TJ Hawkinson. My goodness, he's
Hawk Daddy.
Yeah, he's playing really, really well.
And
I threw Pharaoh Brown on here more because of like what in the world. He had a really good catch and run and a touchdown, and what in the world? I didn't even know he was on the Patriots. I saw
that's where he did this. I was just thinking Texans.
Yeah, and I saw it in the Discord, and I was like, "What in the world, Pharaoh Brown? Who's that guy?" I thought he was on the Texans, so little shout out for him.
Oh man. Well, should we get into the Week 4 matchups?
Let's do it.
All right, we're starting off tomorrow night. Lions versus the Packers. We got Monty. Monty said he would play if it were up to him. He has not been medically cleared to play as of yet. Aaron Jones limited practice on Monday and Tuesday. Christian Watson has still not been cleared as of Tuesday. What do you guys think?
All three of those guys are listed as questionable heading into the game. I don't know if they're going to be like true game time decisions. Hopefully we hear something like early tomorrow. But I don't know. Like that game's weird. I don't know what to think. Detroit's defense looked really good the first and third week. Not so much the Seattle game.
Brutal.
They gave me too excited.
Maybe Ron jinxed him when he was there.
I probably did. I'll probably never go back into Ford Field.
I think this should be a good game. I think it might be a little bit lower scoring than we want. But in terms of like fantasy options, I mean, obviously you're going to fire up the Sun God and Laporta.
That's what I was just going to say. Is I think this game is actually going to be one of the better, Thursday night games. And obviously, Week 1 was really good. And I think surprised that out of the first 4 games, the Lions are on Thursday night twice. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. And then I really hope Aaron Jones plays. We'll see. And then I could care less if Christian Watson plays. To be honest,
dude, AJ Dillon looks bad.
He does.
What's going on there?
He's always been bad. That's the thing. He's never been good.
But this is like worse though. This is
this is
kind of bad. I don't know what happened.
So this comes back to kind of the same thing I thought about when Kenny Pickett is taking over for Ben Roethlisberger, right? He might be the younger, new Studley model stepping into the offense here with a little bit more of a live arm here, but you're losing all that experience to get, the offensive line going the right way, get the running backs going the right way, seeing all the blitzes and knowing when to check to a run and when to check to a pass. And I think that's probably affected AJ Dillon.
Yeah, he does not look good. I think they're different backs, to be honest, very different. And so I don't know. I thought he would be okay coming in. AJ Dillon goes down, or excuse me, Aaron Jones goes down. But man, I think even both games when Aaron Jones has been out, he has not been good.
No, he's been terrible. He's averaging less than 3 yards per carry on the season. It's just it's a nightmare. I don't know. And I think it's worth noting the Packers have 2 offensive linemen out for tomorrow night, so I don't foresee any reason for that to get any better.
Yeah,
I think
agreed.
It's only
it's Bakhtiari, and then I think one of their
I know Bakhtiari is out. I think Jenkins is still questionable because the wording in the tweet was funny because I thought that as well. McSpanky. I think they're still putting the guard up for debate.
Reading's not my strongest skill.
No, that's how you got on this podcast. Don't worry about that. It's nobody's strong suit here. You have to fail the reading test to be on here, guys. I can't explain to you how crucial
Jenkins is out. They officially listed him as out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, awesome. Should we go to London?
London,
King
baby.
Roy.
Also, just a little
in London.
Little shout out Toy Story game as well for all the little ones.
Yeah, I'm
pretty
excited
cool
to turn that on and see if my kids get interested. I don't know, but I'm gonna find out for us on Sunday morning.
Are they gonna have that? Woody and Buzz running around out there? Like what is happening?
I have no idea.
To infinity and beyond.
I'm here for it, but I'm
sure JB will have that on for his little guys too.
Oh yeah. We got the Pitts misery and we got London Bridge falling down. Does anything get better for those two this weekend?
Okay, so here's what I will say. It's a little bit narrative based, but Kyle Pitts played really well in his other London appearance. So
that was with elite Matt Ryan.
There was that whole thing about him not being able to score on U.S. soil. So we'll see.
That's right.
Fire up Pitts.
Yeah, so fire him up for the London games.
Yeah. All right. Maybe he can be like, hey, can we just play over in London, please? Send those Falcons over to London, and he'll be all right. I think T-Law bounces back. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say I was interested to see how the Jaguars' offense looks. It's been they've moved the ball okay, but they haven't been able to score.
Been a rough 2 weeks here.
It's a little rough. I know Trevor Lawrence's value's been a little. People are trying to buy low. I think people are panicking too.
Oh yeah,
because he's.
I think. Let's see somebody in
he's been hurt. He's been hurt by some drops. I know that. I don't have the exact drop numbers offhand, but I know that. And we made the comment earlier: if the field were a foot longer and a foot wider, he would have had a much better day.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit of bad luck here. Maybe he gets a little bit of positive regression there. I know that's everybody's favorite words. I don't know. Atlanta's defense was actually surprisingly a lot better than what I thought they would be this past weekend. I thought the Lions would put up more points than what they did.
These London games are always kind of weird though too. They have a tendency to go into these random shootouts just because I think all the body clocks are off and it's just a weird.
Right, man. It's 9:30 in the morning for me. Who knows what time it is for those guys? And doing all that travel and Louise.
Yeah. So I think this is going to be a pretty solid game for fantasy wise. I think because like you said, it's going to be kind of a shootout. I would assume. Maybe Pitts and London get in hopefully both of them maybe get in for a touchdown but I think the big one here is going to be Bijan.
For sure,
Bijan getting in. He's just rushing it down everybody's throats. No Tyler Algier.
Algier will probably score just because we think it's a good Bijan game.
Yeah.
Sure.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay, next up, Rams versus the Colts. Anthony Richardson still in concussion protocol. Are we going to see old A-Rich versus the Rams?
I don't know, man. He hasn't practiced yet, which is a little concerning. It's kind of getting later in the week. I think realistically, he probably needs to practice in some capacity tomorrow to be a realistic option to get on the field. Because I mean, he's still a rookie, right? So it's not like he's one of those like 5-year vets where he knows the offense super well and can just go in without practice. Like he still needs to be there. Plus, Minshew played really well last week, so
he sure did.
I don't think they're gonna really rush him back to go get beaten up by Aaron Donald, right?
And Josh Downs played really well with Minshew as well. I thought he had a good game. So either
Downs.
way, yeah,
Downs with the sickness.
He's starting to do a lot better. So I think it'd be okay if A-Rich doesn't play. I think it'd be better for his health. And then my boy Puka coming down to earth a little bit, just a little bit. I think he still had about 60,
he was
60,
good.
70 yards. I cannot believe I lost by 0.02 in one matchup. And if he would have gotten in, that would have been an easy win. Or if he would have gotten one more yard, it would have been a win. I don't even need the touchdown. I needed just the yard. That guy just fell down.
So I know we talk a lot about Puka, but honestly, Tutu Atwell has been playing really well, which I kind of had him left for dead, but
absolutely,
he's been playing awesome. I'm interested to see what the receiver targets look like after Cup comes back, and
I think when Cup comes back for sure.
They're hoping. I think he can come back not this week, but the week after. They're starting to ramp up some of his activity. I don't know if he's going to be a full go yet or not, though.
Yeah, there was. Let's see if I can find it real quick. There was a quote from Sean McVay. It's TJ in the Discord posted it. It said Sean McVay says it's still the hope in quotations that Cooper Kupp comes off the IR on schedule and that he progresses. He has progressed physically, so that's not the best terms we want to hear. So I don't know for sure, but what I would say about Tutu is I think he's more of in that Kupp role than Puka is, right? So I think Tutu is going to be the one that kind of hurts. I think both of them are going to be hurt when Kupp comes back, obviously, because that's kind of Stafford's guy, But I just think,
right there.
I think Tutu is going to be hurt a bit more than Puka. I think Puka will still get some of those targets, and but I don't think it will be at the same rate that he has, obviously.
Sure. On Anthony Richardson, I thought I saw this earlier. He is still in concussion protocol, but he is expected to practice today and will take starter reps.
Okay.
That's per Steichen. So
I thought I might have saw that too. Yeah.
It's a odd touch and go situation here for Anthony Richardson. I hope he comes back. He's exciting to see on the field.
He sure is. Yeah.
Okay. Down to the Ravens versus the Browns. Are we cutting bait, man?
I don't think you can cut him. Not in Dynasty, at least.
Yeah, definitely not cutting.
But I just wanted to say it just because his last name, and never mind that joke. Jerome Ford versus Kareem Hunt.
It's Jerome Ford. Kareem Hunt's a bum.
Yeah,
dude's washed. He's old. He's already hurt. He already missed practice today. I with like a ribs and shoulder, I want to say. And I saw someone tweeted, they're like, "Oh, actually, it's because he's old and washed."
I love that,
man.
One game and the guy gets multiple injuries. He only had 5. He only had 5 attempts. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know how many. Oh, he had 2 receptions. So I mean, it's definitely the Jerome Ford show, which is really cool to see. And I think that's what they were saying before they even got Kareem Hunt. So I don't think anything's going to really change because I agree with both of you. Kareem Hunt's a bit.
Well, they said that about Jerome Ford, but from being in the Dynasty Theory Discord and the game day chat and reading JB listing off the 4 names that touched the ball before Jerome Ford even set foot into the backfield is a little bit concerning, is it not? Or were they just trying to use some confusion and pull one over?
I would say it's a little bit concerning, but at the end of the day, again, Jerome Ford had a great game, right? So I don't think they can keep him off the field. I don't know what they're thinking in putting in other guys before him.
So for what it's worth, he had the most snaps out of any running back by a large margin. So he was on the field for 40 snaps. The next closest was Hunt with 14. Pierre Strong had 8. So I'm not too worried about it. And they do use Elijah Moore out of the backfield a little bit too. But Jerome Ford should be the guy there. But this game in particular, I think it's one of the lowest over-unders on the slate.
Yep.
And Baltimore's offense looks like a polished turd. Like, it is bad.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought Todd Monken was supposed to fix this offense, but it is horrendous.
Lamar not passing for 4 million yards this year is
definitely not. He's
lucky to throw for 200, dude.
He is also, but he's putting up a lot of rushing yards, which is good. You know, that's what's helping, which saving him.
That's why we love Lamar.
Yeah, and I think he's still, you know, putting together a good fantasy season, and it'll be. I'm hoping that we can get some more passing offense, but we'll see. I mean, by far, Zay Flowers is that number one receiving wide receiver, we'll say. And I have had Mark Andrews in a keeper league I've had for a long time, and that guy just keeps hurting me every week, man.
Andrews.
It's like you got to start him because like of what you paid to acquire him, but he's not doing you any favors right now.
Exactly. I think I agree with Jay that it's going to be really like, you know, AFC. It's the AFC North, so that's a really big. You know, going to be a big.
That's
low scoring
game. Start other players if you have them. I think.
That Browns defense
outside of like Lamar.
The Browns defense has been tough.
You still think Jerome Ford's a good player? Would you look other?
I would look to see if I had someone else, but if you spent your all your fab on him, you probably have to play him. Especially if you had Chubb. But I would look to see if there's better options somewhere. I think he's probably like a low end RB2 on the week, assuming he can get some catches.
Yeah,
the Ravens are not. The Ravens are about middle of the road against running backs, so they're not the tough of a rushing matchup as they used to be. Still small sample size yet here to build some trends off of, but. It sounds about right for, you know, a Harbaugh-led team. You know, they can just float around mediocrity and usually be pretty good. Okay, so Vikings versus Packers. Cam Akers week.
Panthers.
You finally see Cam Akers into what did I say?
Packers. You're good.
Oh, Panthers. Sorry. At least they both start with a P. Damn.
That's true.
Ron's already focused on tomorrow night's game.
I am so focused on that game. Oh my god, it's a huge game for the Lions, guys. Don't get me started. Anyway, Vikings, Cam Akers. Are we going to see anything from Cam this week?
I bet he's active, but he's worse than Alexander Madison, who hasn't played particularly well. I know he had a good week last week, but Cam Akers is not a good football player. I'm just going to say it. So I'm sure he's active and he'll probably get some carries and some work there, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I was going to honestly say, does it matter? You know, I think I agree. I think he'll get some work, but I mean, I agree 100%. He's not a very good football player. I think there's got to be something else going on with him because, you know, he got shipped out for little to nothing, you know, so I don't know.
I don't think he has and this is just me speculating, not anything I've read, but I don't think he has the best attitude in the world based on some of the reports.
I was going to say, kind of. And then I hope Bryce Young plays. I mean, I agree that I don't really think it will matter. I think this is probably like a get right game for the Vikings. I mean, if they're already down in the 0-3 hole, but I do think, you know, that the Vikings will put up some good numbers. The Panthers have like a sneaky, like solid defense. You know, like better than it's better than I thought. And so, because they played pretty well against the Seahawks for at least the first 3 quarters. And then, you know, I think the one thing that does matter is I think Thielen will have a better game if the Red Rifle plays.
So Bryce Young was a full participant today in practice, so I think it's trending for him to play again.
Cool.
Bryce Young, I hope he looked like he was getting better from like week 1 to week 2. So I hope that helps. And the Vikings defense isn't like scary by any means. So I think this will be a good week for him to kind of take that next step and actually have a good, you know, passing attack.
Hopefully Mingo plays.
Hopefully, maybe he can throw for over 200 yards. That would be nice to see.
We'll see.
You know, his weapons are not, you know, threatening anybody either. That's never helpful.
Hey, Adam Thielen's been playing really well, man.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine, but nobody walks on the field and they're like, dude, we got to make sure we stop Thielen today. Like, not anymore. Nobody's saying that
That's
anymore.
fair.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
like they're fine role players. Like Thielen, Chark, they're fine role players, and Mingo hasn't hit his stride for anything. So nobody's really, just to sit on these routes because Thielen's not beating anybody deep.
Thielen had 11 receptions last week, which is impressive. 11 for 14 for 145 yards and a touchdown. I think, but yeah, that's what I was saying. I think if the Red Rifle plays, the one thing that's going to be good is for Thielen. But I would much rather see Bryce Young.
Thielen's a really nice play in DraftKings DFS, by the
cheap.
way.
Yeah, very cheap.
He was he was like 3,900 last week, and I shoved him into all my lineups, and he did awesome. And he didn't really go up much this week, so just
cool. Good to know.
A little bit of fun there.
I put Chark into mine.
Oh,
super cheap.
Picked the wrong one.
I love them deep shots down the sideline, baby. I love them things.
But he did score actually, though. He did score.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He just needs one. That's all he needs. Okay, let's get down to the Bengals versus the Titans. This could be a very ugly game. It really could be, based off of how both of these offenses are playing right now. I mean, I watched the Monday night game, and all Burrow was doing is just throwing outs and slants to Jamar Chase all the way down the field, and then they're kicking field goals. What the heck's going on in Cincinnati?
Their O-line's not doing them any favors. T. Higgins has a case of the dropsies. He's been playing bad, and then he got banged up. I think he's okay though. And then the Titans, that whole offense is just I don't know how to say it nicely, but it's really
Train
bad.
wreck.
Yes. No passing option looks good there. I mean, Hopkins is fine. Traylon's been terrible. Tannehill,
I think he's banged up too.
No one looks okay in that offense. It all looks just bad.
I think that the Bengals have a solid defense as well, so I think it's going to be a. I know
low scoring game too.
I was going to say I think the Titans have a solid defense as well, so it's going to be low scoring again. I don't really know if Burrow bounces back per se. I think he'll have more than. I think he had less than 200 yards last game, right? And so I think he.
Do you think
I think he's still injured a bit. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. Do you think part of the problem with him not going deep anymore is because he doesn't have like his like base with like his calf, like he just can't like drive the ball, and so he's just kind of doing like little quick throws.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, man. He's gonna be out there until you drag him off the field. So he's gonna be out there hobbled and thinking that this is the better choice when maybe it really is. Oh, I'm not saying that you're wrong at all. I completely agree. This is why he's not going deep. It's he's hurt. He doesn't trust anything that's going on out there, and he's got a pass rusher sitting in his lap. At the beginning and end of every single play.
Yep.
Tajay almost outtouched Derrick Henry last week too.
I think a lot of that was game script. They were down, but we talked about it earlier. I just think Derrick Henry is slowing down a bit.
Yeah. Buccaneers versus Saints. It's National Sit Your Mike Evans shares week. Do you think man?
Yeah,
Lattimore shuts that dude down. There's he has one game where he has been useful for fantasy versus
and that was
with
Tom Brady. So
yeah. I like that. You called that.
I don't think you can sit Mike Evans down, but
it's hard.
Not with how he's been playing this week or this year.
It's tough, but
does that open things up
for Baker?
Does that open things up for Chris Godwin? Maybe.
I don't think it matters because Baker's throwing the ball still.
Yeah. I don't. Well, Baker's actually been playing fairly well, but these games in particular are almost always low scoring, and they come down to the last possession. At least for the last 3 years. So I don't feel super comfortable with either team, starting anybody from either side, just other than the defenses. If you're in a defensive league, Evans, I think you got to play him. Rashad White, I would try not to. Saints defense is good. Kamara, you're probably starting him because you've been waiting for him to come back and hopefully save your team. And I'm interested to see. Do you think he's going to get a lot of work right away, or do you think they're going to kind of ease him in?
If Jamal Williams were healthy, I would say that they would ease him in. I think that they're going to have to just hand him the full workload after the performance Kendra put up last week. There's no reason for him not to take all the carries. It's Tony Jones and Kendra Miller in front.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Week. So I mean, Yeah, I think Kamara gets the bulk of the work, and we talked about Carr a little bit earlier.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a lot, especially if Carr doesn't play. I think it's going to be a lot of Kamara. If Kendra had a good game last week or it looked a little bit better, I think they could have maybe eased Kamara in, but I think they are like dying for him to get back.
So is this a Jameis revenge game?
Jameis
maybe.
revenge game. And that never goes well for Jameis, though.
Hopefully he doesn't eat W's anymore,
Oh,
Yeah.
you need him to eat the W's, not the
still
L's.
trying.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Mike,
I hope he doesn't, he was eating them.
From Nate, and I just realized who Nate is in the Discord. I always forget this until about halfway through the show. This is Cole from the Discord. I always forget.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mike Evans had something like a 50% first read target rate this past game.
Yeah.
Dang.
That is he's just hucking
crazy.
it to him.
Crazy. Okay. The point scoring, fireworks, and explosions all over the place, only to disappoint us when we actually get to see it. Dolphins versus Bills.
Yeah, you think this game should be a shootout, but the last year when both teams played, both games were pretty low scoring.
It's divisional, man. So it's that divisional stuff.
I personally think it's gonna be
how.
I was going to say, I just think it's going to be a really fun game. You would assume it's going to be put up a lot of points, but before I was looking at, what they did not put up many points last year. And I think like Ron already said, divisional games are always played very, very tough, especially both these teams are really good. And so I think it's probably going to be somewhere like, 28-24 kind of game, not like they'll put up some points, but nothing like we would think.
Not putting up 70 again.
They're not playing the Broncos, so no.
Who do you think leads the backfield for Miami? A-Chain or Mostert?
Unfortunately, I think it goes like 60-40, and I was going to say, unfortunately, I think it goes about 60-40.
You mean fantasy points or in touches?
The touches.
Oh, give me Mostert for the touches, but I think A-Chan gets the points.
I think so too, just because of how important this game is to the Dolphins being a division game. I think they're going to lean on Mostert and probably put A-Chain in some of the other games. Or A-Chan. I'm not going to be able to get used to that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, but I feel like you have to fire up A-Chan for sure.
Yeah, you can't bench him after last week's game.
Yeah.
No, he's in all my lineups now. How many people do you think Josh Allen tries to hurdle this week?
Give me 2.
Yeah, dang it. That's what I was going to say. It's 2.
Say at least one, right?
At least one. One's a given. He tries to hurdle somebody every week. It's that second one we're looking for. Okay.
I personally, real quick, hate the way he plays. It's just he's so valuable, and he just like
I love it. He's a wild man.
It's okay.
He's a cowboy, man.
I love watching it, but I just it's so hard like for fantasy terms. Like it's fun to watch, but hard to watch.
Yeah, I get it. He does some things that really make you scratch your head. That's for sure. Stafford used to do those things in Detroit with like some underarm flips and behind the back stuff. And you're like, what are you doing, man? But then when it happens, it is awesome. So
A-Chan, like Jackie Chan. We'll just remember that now.
Oh, there we go. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bored with that.
I want to get that. I want to get the price of Nate's ticket there that he had to pay to get in here to watch this. I'm looking to get that paycheck.
I think it goes straight to.
JB.
I'm just making jokes. I'm making jokes. This is all free here. We don't make anything off this. Okay. Broncos versus Bears. The only thing I could think of is someone is going to win this game.
This is bad, dude. I don't. This is just gross. I don't want any part of this game.
I think the Broncos are going to tear the Bears to pieces, honestly.
How?
Yeah, the Bears are that bad. The Bears had equipment stolen from their facility. A professional football team had equipment stolen from their facility. Thousands of dollars worth of equipment.
Did you guys see someone from ESPN, I think it was Ryan Clark, was like, oh, did they steal the offensive playbook? Because otherwise it doesn't really matter.
Right. Like there's no improvement. Dude, I mean, how do they have like their defense? We won't go into that. But Justin Fields out here blaming the coaching, but then he says he's going to go out there and play freely, and it was the same result. Justin
ruined him. I'm convinced of it.
Honestly, I think he
looks so much better his rookie year compared to now. It's drastically different. They have beaten the fun out of him.
I put him down as we talked about it a little bit, but I put a note down, and he just, in my opinion, he looks lost. Like the timing is off. And then we talked about it already, but the play calling is horrendous. Like they need to get him the ball, and he needs to run the ball more. And I think that's going to help a lot. It's very tough,
Yeah. Okay. Let's move it along a little bit here. We got the Commanders versus the Eagles. Sam Howell, another poopy performance from the Washington Commanders in this divisional showdown.
I think it's going to be.
I agree. Yeah, I think the Eagles are going to, really handle them after what they saw, the Bills do to them. Probably a good little map quest there for you. Okay, Steelers versus Texans. CJ does his hot start continue versus this defense?
Because he looks like the real deal.
Good still.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's kind of what I put down earlier when I wanted to get into him with the, he was one of my studs for the week, and that's exactly what I put down. He's the real deal. He's putting up a lot of numbers, putting up, the first quarterback over 900 yards in his first 3 games. He's going to keep it up.
He might be the best quarterback in the class that came out, and which is funny because I think I had him 3rd, but he's been playing really well.
Too.
Yep.
I think it's Richardson, but
this should be a good game as well.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about good game, but it's probably going to be closer and more points scored than what we think at the end of the day, just due to some wild stuff happening. That Steelers defense is legit. TJ Watt, Howell's been sacked 19 times.
That's insane.
13.
Wow. Good thing he gets that's bad. Good thing he gets the Eagles D line this week. I'm sure that'll help.
Yay!
Yeah, they don't rush the passer very well at all. Sarcasm. Okay, Raiders versus Chargers. Jimmy G still in the concussion. Do we see Eckler this week?
I think Eckler plays.
Yep, and I think so too.
Herbert goes over 300, and Keenan Allen just is unguardable, and the Raiders get dunked on because they suck.
Yep. I was just going to say the Chargers are going to keep it up, put up a lot of points, and it's going to be pretty good for your fantasy teams. I think it's mainly going to be
can't stop anybody.
Yeah. If Eckler plays, it's going to be the Eckler and Keenan Allen show.
They'll get right this week.
They'll get right this week. Okay. Cardinals versus 49ers. Do the upsets continue? Anybody interested in Hollywood?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, no, thank you.
Well, he's okay. So he's actually played.
Yeah.
Okay. I still don't know how much I trust it, though. Like, I'm not willing to buy anything from him.
Right.
Yeah. He's getting a bunch of targets. He scored 2 out of 3 weeks. So, like, he's putting up points, but is it kind of like a fool's gold kind of thing? And I don't know how much I really trust it, like, long term.
Yeah,
that's what I was just going to say. I don't
like a wide receiver 2-ish.
I think I think so. I think it's going to be a lot of up and down. Boomer bust. Josh Dobbs is probably going to have some of those games that he he had a really good game against one of the best defense. So I think everybody was impressed by that. But I just think if there's one person I want from those for the Cardinals, it's definitely James Conner.
Yeah, that's for sure. 23 targets for Hollywood through the first 3 games. And I will say that the Cowboys losing Travion Diggs at like the end of the week probably played a little bit into the defensive woes there for Dallas. Not too much, but still, you're losing a starter here, and your communication on the back end is key. Anyway, Brandon Ayuk, in or out?
I think he's in, and I think he's going to have a good game. CMC, obviously, like you're going to fire him up every week. He's been playing awesome. Brock Purdy, he's been pretty good, right? Like, surprisingly.
Pretty good, yeah.
Pretty good. Pretty darn good.
That is for sure.
I think I hope he plays, but I don't know. He hasn't practiced yet this week, so it's going to be hard.
He was at practice today.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Patriots versus Cowboys. What do you think Bill Belichick takes away? Does he take away Lamb or does he take away old Fergalicious?
It's got to be CD, right? If you look at the Cowboys offense, there's two guys that potentially scare you. It's Pollard and CD. I think let Dak beat you with Jake Ferguson, and if he beats you with Ferguson, so be it.
Right.
CD was one of my duds this last week, and I put a note down that I think he's going to have another rough game.
I got that Christian Gonzalez out there, and
he's good.
He's
really good,
really good.
The Patriots can cover, that's for sure. All right, Chiefs versus Jets.
Oh God, Sunday night.
God,
can't
believe
at least we could talk about Taylor Swift. We could talk about Taylor Swift.
Is she going to be there again?
Yeah, probably. I bet she is. I bet she's going to be at every game.
That might be one of the best watched games of the week, just because all the Swifties now are huge Chiefs fans now, I guess.
Yeah. Did you see all the stats on Kelsey's, podcast and his Twitter and all that?
His jersey
sales.
Yeah, the jersey sales too.
He made a good financial decision on top of a good personal one. So good for him.
He did. Bill Belichick applauded him. He said he's made a lot of good catches, but this might be his greatest.
I saw that.
I couldn't believe that Bill said that.
Is that funny that Bill Belichick, is he a closet Swiftie?
Not a closet. He's announced it to the world.
Looks like. I was gonna say
she had a rain performance at a stadium, and it might have been at Foxborough, and he applauded her on staying out there in the rain and going.
Surprised he wasn't there.
He might have been.
He might
probably
have
up in the press box. He's probably working.
He's probably down in the pit, dude.
Yeah, he probably just lives there. That's where his home is, underneath there. And it's where he sacrifices everything to the whatever he does to get his wins. Anyway, Seahawks versus Giants.
Well, hold on. In seriousness, with the Chiefs-Jets game, Zach Wilson, dude's terrible, right? I don't.
Oh
can
my
you
gosh.
start any? Can you start any Jet player? Honestly, can you start any of them?
Even Breece Hall, man. That guy's. I don't think so. I took him out of some of my lineups. I don't
think you can play him or Garrett Wilson. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you have to play Garrett Wilson because of where you took him. But I get what you're saying. In some of these shallower leagues that people play in, if you have something, anybody else's wide receiver one, I would probably start him over Garrett Wilson.
Dude, honestly, some teams like wide receivers 3, I think Garrett Wilson hasn't done anything because Zach Wilson can't throw an accurate ball.
Yeah, no, agreed.
Bum.
For sure.
Okay, let's get on to these Seahawks versus Giants. What do you guys think about JSN and his lack of usage? Because I'm not even trying to say this insultingly, but when I went to the Lions versus the Seahawks game, I completely forgot JSN was even a part of that game.
They're not using him. They're using Jake Bobo more than him, which is weird.
And when he gets the ball, he looks really good. I mean, and I think, but he's not getting the ball much at all. So I don't know. It's interesting.
And they're only getting him the ball on screens.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I mean.
He's not a speed guy. We know that.
But he's a good route runner though, which is why I don't understand. They're not using him at all. So
yeah, you would think he'd be a first down machine at this point, especially having DK and Lockett out there on the field with him. Who do you think is drawing the better coverage out of these 3 guys? It's going to be DK and Lockett, and JSN should be free to roam and take advantage of linebackers and safeties. That has 100%. Not been the case for him.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Zay Flowers is going to wind up being the wide receiver 1 of this class, isn't he?
Probably, yeah.
Addison is still doing
all right.
Yeah, that's true.
I forget about Addison.
Can't forget Daddy Eddie.
No, you cannot. He's got the coolest nickname in here too.
I read Saquon. It might be kind of an uphill battle for him to play, which is very unfortunate because he's playing on Monday night if he does play. So that's going to stink.
I hate that when guys are questionable going into Monday night because especially your studs like that. It's do you risk it and just take the goose egg in your lineup if he doesn't play, or do you just throw in a worse option? I tend to do that to kind of get guaranteed.
I benched all my Burrow last week.
I did too, and
So thankfully I had Baker or Burrow, and so honestly Baker might have been a little bit better, but I think I had that game in the bag already, I think, if I remember correctly, and so I don't think it really mattered. I only have 1 share of Burrow.
Oh yeah, I'm a plentiful. I went out a buy-in when he tore that ACL. That is for sure. Anyway, anybody got any last minute thoughts here?
Real quick, just with this being week 4, after this week, on the teams you aren't contending on, take a look around your league and see if you can find any of those teams that are like 3-1 that you look at the roster and they have greatly outdone what they should be doing, and you think they're gonna kind of collapse. Maybe they don't have depth, or maybe just like they've had some like flashes in the pan and gotten some wins early that they probably shouldn't have, and see if you can get there first. And just banking on the fact that their team probably is outperforming where they should be, and they could end up being an earlier first, whereas they might have bought in thinking they're a contender.
Yeah. Disclaimer: definitely. I have a couple of those. I'm not giving my first away.
I do too. But just throwing it out there. Just
There's definitely people that will be like, oh, I think I'm still in it. Just let me see. I need another piece or whatever. And some of those guys that are playing really well in the first couple of weeks are probably not going to continue doing well. For mine is this is kind of getting an awesome for me, but another little toot for me with A-Chan. I was waiting. Yeah. I was waiting for him, and boom, big week. Unfortunately, I had like probably 4 or 5 shares that I didn't play him on teams that are solid. That would have been really nice to have those points on my team. Roster. Yeah. And so I think I feel much better with my take of rookie running back number 2, especially with how poorly that Gibbs is being used. I'm not saying Gibbs is playing bad. I think it's just the way that he's being used is unfortunate. And so, give me another little good week.
Be a little patient on Gibbs. I think he'll come around still.
Yeah, I think so too. Wow. But I think it will be a good battle between him and A-Chan on who's going to be that number 2.
Yeah. Sorry, this is super exciting. The stuff that Cole just dropped.
Christopher Nolan
and talks to direct some James Bond movies. That's exciting. I want to know who's going to be that James Bond. Boom, bam, pow. I love me some Christopher Nolan. I'm never watching Oppenheimer because that seems super boring for 3 hours, though.
Too long.
Too long for me as well. After about an hour, I'll fall asleep.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially when that kid gets here. That's for sure. Should we get out of here?
I was gonna say real quick, shout out to all the people in the jumping on in the chat. Yes. Thank you very much for joining. Yes. Appreciate it. Yep.
Thank you for thanking everybody, Holler.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Look at you. All right, let's have a good weekend of football.
All right, see you guys.
See you.
Go.